From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. The Israeli army has told Palestinians to begin evacuating eastern Rafah. An Israeli Defense Force statement issued this morning signals that a ground invasion is imminent. We've got more from reporter M. Wynn.
Prime Minister Netanyahu has vowed to enter Rafah to flush out Hamas fighters, defying international pressure, including from the U.S. All of this as hopes for a ceasefire and hostage deal fade.
Israel has described Rafah as the last significant Hamas stronghold after 7 months of war. Its leaders have repeatedly said they need to carry out a ground invasion to defeat the Islamic militant group. Meantime, the Canadian Security Intelligence Service is warning the Israel-Hamas war has led to a spike in violent rhetoric from extremist actors that could prompt some to turn to violence. The statement comes as newly released documents shed light on discussions held last fall between the spy agency, public safety officials, and Muslim and Jewish leaders about responding to a reported uptick in hate crimes. A CISA spokesman says while the long-term effects of the crisis cannot easily be predicted, it is clear that this conflict has raised tensions within society. A potential strike between WestJet and its mechanics union appears to have been avoided.
A statement from the Calgary-based airline Sunday night says a tentative deal between it and the Aircraft Mechanics Fraternal Association has been agreed to. If the contract is ratified by both sides, it would mark the first approved collective bargaining agreement between WestJet and AMFA. WestJet had issued 72-hour lockout notice on Saturday to the union, saying it was in response to AMFA announcing a strike vote. The union had cited wages, outsourcing, scheduling, and layoff protection as standout issues during negotiations. Terms of the deal had not been made public as of Sunday night. David Bowles, The Canadian Press.
Boeing is poised to launch astronauts to the International Space Station for NASA after years of delays and stumbles. NASA spokesman Victor Glover says the first crewed flight of Boeing's Starliner capsule is scheduled to lift off tonight from Cape Canaveral, Florida.
This is the most important thing going on in the agency right now, in my opinion. We have two people preparing to fly a spacecraft that humans have never flown before.
NASA has turned to private companies for astronaut rides after the space shuttle fleet was retired. And finally, Arkansas is set to replace the statues of two obscure figures from its history that have represented the state at the U.S. Capitol with contemporary figures. A statue depicting civil rights leader Daisy Bates is scheduled to be installed at the Capitol this week. Another depicting music legend, you guessed it, Johnny Cash, is expected to go up later this year. Cash sold 90 million records worldwide, spanning country, rock, blues, folk, and gospel. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Dallas Stars closed out their first-round series with a 2-1 victory over the Vegas Golden Knights, dispatching the defending Stanley Cup champs in 7 games. Looking ahead now, the Edmonton Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks start their second-round All-Canadian clash Wednesday in Vancouver. The Boston Bruins and Florida Panthers go tonight in their second-round Game 1, while the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche get going tomorrow. And there's already been one second-round game played. The New York Rangers got a 4-3 victory over the Carolina Hurricanes. Canada's Taylor Pendrith is a winner on the PGA Tour on his 74th try. The 32-year-old from Richmond Hill, Ontario, won the Byron Nelson in Texas by 1 stroke over Ben Coles, who bogeyed the 18th hole. Pendrith shot a 4-under-67 in the final round and qualified for the PGA Championship in 2 weeks. And finally, in MLB interleague action, the Washington Capitals defeated the Toronto Blue Jays 11-8. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.